Oh,
There's
that's
a
it.
British biochemist named Sheldon. She has a rather interesting theory.
There's actually a lot of British names that are derived from German.
And I just assumed Clover was saying a lot of the other books are German, so I just assumed that.
Yeah, that's true.
Morphogenetic fields, which relies on the theory of morphic resonance.
Really? From Lotus, huh?
Well, Clover also said something to me about that stuff.
She did?
Yeah, what was it?
The ability to access a morphogenetic field is affected by a couple of things. The first is epiphany, and the other is danger.
They already know that Santa's theory. Yeah, they do at this point.
Well, I think they suspect him because of the fact that his bracelet is...
Yeah.
yeah.
But I can't remember, did he run the other direction with June, though? Did he kidnap, or was it the other ending where he kidnapped June?
No, it's this one currently.
Oh, so yeah, so they know he's Zero, yeah.
That girl. I told her not to tell anyone.
She trusts Junpei, though.
She does, yeah.
Why?
Well...
Look, man, I didn't push it because we're in a hurry, but I'm kind of sick of this. How about you just tell me, okay?
Tell you what?
Don't give me that. About the experiment.
Ugh. Very well, fine. I'll tell you everything. But not here. Let's move to the top floor. I suppose I might as well start by telling you why I kept quiet. And why I made sure Clover did as well.
This is important now.
Yes, I'm assuming.
To be honest, the explanation is quite simple. Zero told me not to. I had little choice. He didn't walk up and tell me, of course. He gave me a message engraved on a card.
That's a Braille card. It looks just like the one you showed us earlier.
I'm guessing that's what he whispered about Clover with at the beginning of the game.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
So you had 2 cards.
No, only one.
Huh? What do you mean? I thought that card just had some rules for the nonary game on it.
Yes, it did. And those were the rules I read you. However, they were not the only thing on the card. There was something I didn't read. Well, perhaps I should say there was something I couldn't read.
And that was?
Tell no one of the events that took place 9 years ago. Tell, and I activate your sister's detonator. It's a threat on our lives.
Well, I'm assuming the exception was him telling Clover not to say anything.
Presumably, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, Well, what about Clover? Did she get a message from Zero too?
I don't believe she did. But doesn't it strike you as strange that Zero would shut my mouth, but not hers?
Yeah.
To be on the safe side, however, I told her it was best not to tell anyone. Still, apparently she told you. That girl.
What's wrong with her telling me? I figured some stuff out with the things she told me. I mean, it looks like the whole activate her detonator thing was just a bluff. She's prancing around downstairs happy as a clam now that you're back.
That's very true. I've decided I can trust
Is the reason for happy as a clam, is that because they look like they're smiling, do you
I
think?
think so.
I can't think of
But
any
I
other
know
reason.
Clover is very much a cheery like she wants to be in the game, more likely with Snake's return. I can understand why she's more cheery, because she did think her brother was probably dead.
Yeah, we had Mopey Clover for a while, and now we have Happy...
Oh, and like Crazy Clover.
Oh, Crazy Clover, yeah, we can't forget Crazy Clover.
Clover went through all the emotions in this game. She went to denial, grief, loss, and then like
Anger.
and relief when she found out her brother was alive. Like, girl went through everything.
She did.
Out of everyone in this game, she went through like all stages of grief.
She had a roller coaster of emotions.
Oh yeah, actually, out of anyone. Yeah.
I've decided to tell you the truth. The chance that Santa is Zero is very high. I feel I can assume Santa doesn't have the time to observe us at the moment. And at any rate, even if he were, I very much doubt he would kill us.
I'm still convinced there could be another person though as well.
Besides Santa?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Why?
I feel like there has to be another twist.
Oh, don't you worry, there will be plenty of twists coming up.
Like, there has to be more twists because... But I do think Santa is clearly involved.
Very much so, but what I was saying before was, remember I kind of considered the ending, the safe ending, to be like one of two like big like info dumps in terms of
Yeah.
like what's going on and stuff. We haven't reached the second one
Yeah,
yet.
like I know for a fact Ace did not plan this one up because clearly.
Well, yeah, he's been manipulated expertly throughout it all.
Yeah, still question June, even though that commenter said he's very confused with that people question.
Well, the
June.
suspicion, yeah, he was just like
I'm still not 100%.
that was mostly to do with the animals,
Especially with the last thing where she was like on the floor and then she was gone during one of those endings in the thing. Still not 100 off June.
Although we didn't see Santa in that ending.
See, yeah, the thing is, Clover, I don't think Clover would put Snake in danger, and she definitely thought her brother was dead.
Oh yeah.
But maybe she was given more information. But then, no, because if she was working with Zero and they killed her brother, she wouldn't have stayed quiet on that. She
No,
would've
she was.
snapped. I don't think Seven is involved or Lotus.
Yeah,
I
that's fair.
think that's fair to say.
Well, we kind of know their deal. Lotus is the mother of like the two children that
went missing. Was it one or two? Two of them went
the
missing.
two of them went missing. Yeah,
And came back.
Seven
So it
is
was the police officer who rescued them, and no. So, I think I even said this last time. It's June and Santa. There's still something about June that's bothering me,
ah.
and I don't know what it is. So.
Well, what I will say is that your man was specifically talking about the animals in that situation. I don't think he was talking about June as a whole.
Oh, okay.
He was
fair.
talking about like everyone always seems to assume that she killed the animals.
Oh yeah, that's true. Still wouldn't be surprised if she did, but like.
Well, we'll have to see.
Clover told me
I
about
think
the
they
four-leaf
address it
clover,
slightly
about the
more
words.
later on,
Oh, okay.
which is
If
interesting
he knew
because
about that,
Sorry.
then he was in my group during the first experiment. I'm sure of it.
So I think it's interesting that they bring it up again later on because technically I think that path is optional because that's the one that leads to the Yellow Submarine ending.
Oh yeah.
So I always find that kind of interesting. You could theoretically, I think, beat the game without getting that. Now I've never done it. I've never seen someone skip that ending before completing the game. But as far as I can tell, all you need to do is go do the safe ending and then go and do like this path we're on now. So I feel like you could skip that side of the tree and not see any of those scenes. And so when they bring up the rabbit stuff later, I'm thinking to myself,
Oh, some people are confused.
well, potentially. I don't know. As I said, I've never seen anyone actually do that way before.
Okay.
I just think it's a possibility.
He wouldn't kill us, no matter what the situation was.
Except for Ace, I think he would happily kill Ace.
Maybe.
Yeah, you see, I think Ace is the only one. Ace and the man that died at the beginning are the only two that I can say I can justly understand if he was like, yeah, killing them.
Well, technically, there's two other dead people here on this ship as well.
Who else died recently? Oh, but I think they also worked with Ace and the thing, so I get their deaths too. But like, Snake and Clover were on the experiment. That's not their fault. Lotus didn't even send her children to the experiment.
Well, no. That was a horrible, like
her children were kidnapped.
Like,
Seven
she-
is the one who rescued them, and I still don't know what June and Junpei had to do with this, because we know for a fact that they definitely were not on the ship because they know of the story and they were kids at the time and they were still in school together at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So we know, like, Junpei would have mentioned if June went missing or vice versa, so we know they weren't on this ship. So I'm still confused with their connection with this entire thing.
which maybe that's part of why you still suspect.
That's why I suspect June. I don't understand the connection. I'm assuming that's going to be in the revelation near the end.
Okay.
But like, so I still don't understand if Santa is upset about his sister. Let's say if he's either the only one or one of the people involved, because it could still be more than one person. Because this is very elaborate.
It is, yes.
Like, if he did it on his own, fair play.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's impressive.
That's what people say about Jigsaw in the Saw movies. They're like, he did all this himself, like all this stuff. That, like,
But didn't he have help in some of them though?
well, yeah, but
He
that
had
kind of gets
apprentices
on
and
later.
stuff. Yeah, later on.
So
Yeah, but like, so if he did this, fair play. Like, bravo, you're a master genius, because that's impressive. But it's like, because even like, it's like, because a lot of the time when you hear mystery thing, there's one main person, but there is always a helper sometimes as well. A lot of the time for like a big event thing, like a big things like this. I'm thinking of a game. You know which
yeah,
one
I
I'm
think I
thinking
know
of.
which game.
Yeah, so so that's why I wouldn't be surprised if someone's involved. Like, June could be helping him. I don't know, which could be the reason why she has the bracelet that helps him the most.
Yeah.
But the reason is why. And I get it, if he's mad his sister died in this experiment, I get it, Clover and Snake survived. But sometimes if people are trying to escape, is it really their fault?
Yeah, well, that's
Like-
where you get into the whole unreasonable nature of things. Like,
Yeah, like, I would like to not think I would sacrifice someone, but you don't know until you're in these situations.
yeah, that's the thing. You can't really like if you would always take the moral ground until you're actually in the situation.
I think if it was a possibility, like, I would like I'm pretty sure if it was a possibility that all of them can get out, maybe, but sometimes you have to think of yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I get that.
Self-preservation.
No, I do get that. That's very natural, and I don't think you could kill anyone that they're horrible for thinking of themselves. Like, if you're able to save someone else, then do.
Is that why you were so sympathetic to Lotus early on? Because she was clearly like, I've got to protect myself.
I get that. No, I got where she came from. No, but I do think that should be the last stage, though. I think you should also think of everyone else up until a certain point. If it gets to very clear that that only a handful of you can get out, you have to start thinking of yourself. Oh, put it this way, I am a slow runner, as you know, I'm not very fast running or anything, and my boyfriend's very fast.
I actually don't recall if I've ever actually seen you run.
I'm a slow walker, slow runner.
When would I have seen you
I
run?
don't know. Maybe you haven't.
It's not as if like
You've walked around with me, so you know I'm a slow walker, but I think you walk at the same pace as me.
Yeah, I don't think about it when I think of that stuff.
My boyfriend's a very fast walker. He does a lot of cycling and stuff. So he's much faster than me, and I do find it hard to keep up. Like, he does slow down for me, but when he slows down, it's still me walking faster than normal because he's so much faster than me. We talked about it. If there's a zombie apocalypse or anything, he told me he's leaving me behind.
Well, there's
He told me, he was like, I love you, but I'm leaving you behind. And I was like, wow, thanks. But then I half get it. I am pissed about it, but I get it.
There is actually a phrase related to kind of like that. They say when you're running from a bear, you don't have to outrun the bear. All you have to do is outrun the person you're with.
Okay, if there was something like that, I don't think so. He said if it was something like a global thing, like a zombie apocalypse, I know it probably won't happen, but it's fun to talk about it. Or something like that, like a zombie apocalypse or something like that, where everyone's running. Yeah, but I say if it's a bear, he'd probably help me or like...
Well, one would hope so.
Or hide. But if it was a zombie apocalypse where there's zombies everywhere, he was like, each to their own, I'm heading off, I would be like, thanks. But I also told him if I do end up surviving and finding him, I will never save him and I'll probably kill him myself.
I was not expecting that.
Out of betrayal. He said fair. And he was like, okay, fair if that does happen, but I don't...
Luckily, this is all hypothetical.
I already know if it's a zombie apocalypse. I'd probably be one of the first people to die.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, no.
Again, that's a kind of another hard thing to judge, though. Like, would you survive a zombie apocalypse?
Oh, most likely not, no.
But, like, I'm even thinking of myself, like...
No.
I'm not sure. We better actually get back, because I don't know how long we've been
Hey,
talking. I might even need to cut
Snake?
that down.
Oh, it's fine.
Yes, I know. You want to know what happened during the experiment.
Yeah.
How much do you know?
Clover told me about...
I see.
Oh, thank God they skipped all that.
The morphing of the experiments 9 years prior. How the experiments had taken place simultaneously at 2 locations, one being the ship and the other being a building in Nevada. And the girl that died during the experiment.
Which is Santa's sister.
She told you all that, did she? At any rate, I now know how much you've learned. All that remains for us to determine
is who did this and why, right?
Snake was on the ship and Clover was in the building, wasn't she?
I believe that's correct.
Yeah. So yeah, and which one was Santa's sister again? Was she building a ship?
We don't know. So, by all logic, the way it worked, I think, was that each sibling was meant to be like... There was meant to be like one sibling in each location.
But I think, did Snake not say he thinks Santa was with him?
Yes, I think he
So
did.
that meant the sister would have been with Clover.
He should have been, yeah.
Yeah.
yes.
But then how come Snake didn't recognize Santa's voice?
Well, to be fair, 9 years ago they would have been teenagers. You'd be surprised. Actually,
Oh, I guess men's voices change.
I was actually just experiencing this the other day because I started playing Chain of Memories, and Sora's voice threw me off so much.
Oh, it's like the series Young Sheldon, which is the prequel to Big Bang.
Yeah.
I remember I kind of watched season 2 and 3 one, but like even if you compare the actor now, his voice is so different from when he was in season 1. It's actually scary.
But it's because he went through puberty.
So yeah, but see, girls are different. I think our voices don't change that much.
I feel like
We just sound older, but there's no like deep change or anything.
I feel like women get slightly deeper as they get older.
But I think that's why they say if a young girl is good at singing, she'll still be good at singing as she's older. Where if a boy is good at singing from a young age, it's the risk of his voice breaking and changing the tone of his voice.
Can you tell me what happened?
Yes. The people who organized the initial experiment were from a company called Cradle Pharmaceuticals. There were 4 of them running the show. Gentaro Hongo, Nagisa Nijisaki, Teruaki Kubota, Kagechika Musashido. Hongo was the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceuticals.
That was Ace.
Yep.
Nijisaki was his right-hand man and did the
You can even tell from these shots who were who.
I know the bigger guy in the back is the captain.
Yeah.
I think he was the one that was replacing Snake.
This guy, yeah, that's correct.
And the other guy is the 9th man.
Yes. Okay, you got them all.
Kubota led the company's research and development division. Musashido was their majority stockholder. It was these 4 people who planned the initial experiment. Let me simplify it for you. Hongo designed it, and Nijisaki put it all together. Kubota developed the technology required, and Musashido provided the cash.
So it's Hongo, Nijisaki, Kubota,
Of course,
Musashido.
for Junpei, he's just hearing this.
Of course, more than 4 people were required to conduct an experiment of this scale.
But they were obviously the main ones.
Yeah, they were the main.
The rest
people.
were probably just like employees that didn't have all the information.
Yeah, pawns. Yeah.
Yeah, but they probably didn't have all the information either.
Yeah.
To that end, they organized a top-secret team to assist them with their research.
Like, they could have taught the kids' parents to volunteer the kids.
Yeah, we don't know what information they had.
Like, because people can have desperate... I say it does happen. I say there is some rich people that they give money to poorer families to do experiments on their behalf. I 100% would not be surprised if that was true.
Fair enough.
All in all, they gathered 10 people or so. Those 10 completed their team, and they were able to begin the project. They named it the Nonori Project.
There we go.
The purpose of the experiment was to research the prospect of controlling a human mind through sheer will. The vessel, I suppose you could say, for this control was the morphogenetic field.
Huh.
Why did the glycerin suddenly begin to crystallize? Why did the crystal structure of EDT undergo a sudden change? Why did the rats improve their puzzle-solving skills with each generation? Experiments with humans produced the same results. The more people who knew the answer to a question, the more there were who could answer correctly without having seen the problem before. Why is that? How could it happen? The answer is that the shape of the answer has been stored in a field invisible to the naked eye. And through that field, the resonant event transmits information related to that answer. That's essentially the idea behind morphogenetic fields.
But that's just a theory.
Can't
True.
bring yourself to believe it?
Yeah.
Let's say someone killed another person because the devil told them to do it. Whether the devil exists or not has no relevance to the murder. They believe the devil exists. Whether or not he does is immaterial.
So what matters here is that Hongo believed in the morphogenetic field.
That's right.
But I still don't get it. You said they wanted to figure out how to control people. Right? That is what you were saying.
Yes.
So how are they going to do that with a morphogenetic field?
I'll keep it simple. Let's suppose 10,000 people have solved a certain problem. The chance of you knowing that answer, even if no one has told you, will go up. Let's have another example, shall we? Say 1 million people were to do a handstand right now. Tomorrow, the chances of you doing a handstand would be higher, even if you had heard nothing of this hypothetical mass handstanding.
I don't know why.
And actions are all part of a resonant event.
Hypothetical handstanding just sounds so funny to me.
All of the resonant events encoded in the fields are projected onto you. Of course, this assumes you believe in this theory. Do you follow so far?
Yeah.
Now, if there was a person who had the same effect as those millions of people, what would happen? If that one person were to do a handstand, other people would find themselves wanting to do handstands as well. Can you imagine what a person with powers like that would be able to do?
Come on, there's no way.
I'm not done. Imagine another scenario. Imagine another person. This is an ordinary person. Let's say he does a handstand. What if there was someone who could grab the resonant event he created by doing that and use it to make other people do handstands? What would happen then? A person who has the power to write to the field, and someone who can read from the same. Think of them as the writer and the reader, or the transmitter and the receiver.
I just think people are fucking weird.
Yeah. Well, everyone
What would
has
the world be like
weird
if there
things
were
they do.
people with abilities like these?
So the transmitter's resonant event can be transmitted through the field and sent to the receiver. And then the transmitter can control the receiver however they wish. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes, close enough at least.
Come on, that's just crazy.
Well, if you want to prove that, then you'll have to test it first. At least, that was how they thought. That was why they decided to do their experiment. That was how the Nonary project began. By the way, Junpei, have you ever heard of the Gansfeld experiment?
Yeah, that was an experiment in telepathy, right? You place a pair of subjects in separate rooms. Then you show one a picture and ask the other what they see.
Interesting. I'm impressed. Yes,
Who
that is
told
exactly
Junpei
right.
about that again? Was it Clover?
It was either Clover or Lotus. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Clover.
I do know that someone over the course of this game actually told him.
I
So
think it might have been Clover.
So, why did you bring up the Gansfeld experiment?
It was used to screen subjects for the Nonary project. The hospital in a remote town was affiliated with Cradle Pharmaceuticals. Hongo used it to conduct experiments on visiting children in secret. Some of them, he found, had potential. He began to gather children that showed promise. Children that seemed as though they might be able to access the field. Of course, none of them volunteered. They were kidnapped. There were 9 pairs of siblings taken, for 18 children total. For reasons that were not fully understood at the time, each pair had 1 transmitter and 1 receiver. They were split perfectly. As such, the 18 children were split into 2 groups of 9. The children who were put into Group Q were the ones who excelled at transmitting. They were transferred to the mock experiment building known as Building Q in the Nevada desert. The children who excelled at receiving were put in Group A. Group A was then placed on the former hospital ship Gigantic. From the experiments he had conducted so far, Hongo had learned the following. There are 2 things that can increase one's resonance with the fields. The first is epiphany. The other is danger. Have you ever been faced with an especially difficult problem and thought about it very long and very hard until finally an answer suddenly appeared in your mind? It may seem obvious to say so, but that
I
is
was
what
gonna
is
say,
meant by epiphany.
playing point and click adventure games, you get that a lot. Where sometimes I come across a puzzle and I'm completely stuck. I leave it for a while, I'm off doing something else, and suddenly something occurs to me. I'm like, oh my god, what if I do that? And then I come back to it, do it, and suddenly it works.
Well, that works. A lot of people are like that, I think.
Yeah.
The information obtained through that epiphany can be easily transmitted through the fields, where it can be easily interpreted. Adding danger to that equation allows for even easier field access. That's where Hongo came in. They set up a number of puzzles across the Gigantic. The participants had to solve each one before they could move to the next room. Of course, he hadn't forgotten to include danger. He had detonated a bomb on the hull of the Gigantic. The children in Group A were forced to play the Nonary game as the ship sunk. By forcing the children into a life-or-death situation, Hongo hoped to increase the likelihood of their tapping into the fields. The children from Group Q, on the other hand, were confined to the mock experiment building, Building Q. Building Q duplicated the interior and puzzles of the Gigantic exactly. Every detail was exactly the same. Hongo explained the situation to the children in Group Q. Solve the puzzles you find throughout the rooms. When you have the answers, transmit that information to the children in Group A. If you succeed, they will be able to solve the puzzles and escape. But if you fail, then the Gigantic will sink, and your brothers and sisters will drown. Those were his orders. Do you know why the astronauts of Apollo 13 were able to return to Earth safely?
Okay, I was about to ask you now because he suddenly brought up Apollo 13.
No.
You don't know much about it?
No, not really.
Okay, just thought I'd ask.
It was because NASA had access to a replica of the Apollo 13 capsule. All of the equipment, the instruments, everything. All of it identical. Everything was just like the real Apollo 13. NASA was able to replicate the situation the astronauts found themselves in. By putting themselves in the same situation, they attempted to solve the problems the astronauts were dealing with. Once they found solutions, they reported their findings to the men aboard the actual capsule. That was how they were able to return safely. It was the same with the Gigantic in Building Q. The children from Group Q had to use the power of epiphany to solve the puzzles they found and transmit what they learned through the fields. The children in Group A, however, they had to access the fields to learn how they might advance to the next stage. That is the simplest explanation I can manage.
Huh.
Hey, Junpei, Snake! How much longer are you two gonna sit around on those bony asses? Get down here already!
He's right.
We
Let's
do
go,
have
shall
bone.
we don't have much time. We need to get out of here and soon.
Imagine if that's what he was agreeing with.
Hold
That
it.
would be funny.
There's one more thing I want to ask you.
Hmm?
Are you sure that there were 18 kids?
Why?
Well, I thought it was only 16.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. That was what they said on the news, wasn't it? Yes. I have no doubt that 18 children were abducted and used in Hongo's experiment. After all, you couldn't exactly play a nonary game with any less, could you?
Well, yeah, but are you saying that the news got it wrong?
Yes, I am. There were 2 more children. However, they had no relatives that I'm aware of. I imagine no one filed a police report when they went missing.
I'm guessing it could have been Santa and the sister.
They were
Possibly, yeah.
brother and sister, like Clover and I. The brother's name was Aoi.
Well, there, yeah. I think that's his real name.
I'm trying to remember if it's been established or not.
The
No.
sister's name was...
I think it is, because I think...
Her name was... Her name was Akane.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so that it was Santa and his sister. Because Akane, I think, is his sister's name.
Okay.
I think. Am I wrong or wrong?
I don't want to say too much, you see, at this point.
Wait, no, isn't Akane... Wait, what's June's real name?
June?
Yeah.
Akane Kurashiki.
Oh, wait. June is Akane. But June
Uh,
couldn't be on the experiment because she was in school with...
Well, Akane is a common name.
That's true.
So,
Maybe I can't remember. What is Santa's sister's
to be fair,
name?
there's lots of games that I've played where someone's called Akane.
Actually, maybe Santa's sister's name wasn't Akane, because I'd have known about then. He did say her name, though.
Did he say her
I
name?
thought he did. I could be wrong.
I don't think he did, but maybe I'm wrong with that.
That was the girl who...
Oh,
Died.
then maybe it is. Maybe that is Santa.
Akane Kurashiki died? 9 years ago?
Well, wait, what?
Then, who is June? No. That's impossible. It can't be true.
Weren't they in school together around the time?
Yes, they were.
Akane isn't that uncommon of a name. If Snake had known her last name, it's a different matter entirely.
Yeah, he didn't say anything about Kurashiki.
Yeah.
So they share a name. A lot of other people do too. It doesn't mean
So yeah, I
anything.
can't because I'm pretty sure they were in school together. They were talking about it like they both remembered being in school together when the incident happened 9 years ago.
Yeah, they were definitely at school around that time. I don't know if they actually ever had a memory where they were talking to each other about
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm
the
wrong.
kidnapping.
There was someone else. Of course it was.
I mean, after all,
Well, no, because he also went to school with her, and she had a family. So,
what I was gonna say was that after all, oh shoot, but it's popped in my head. I can't. Oh yeah, like as a kid, like their age, they wouldn't have necessarily been looking
Yeah.
at the news that closely.
yeah, but I guess, but if she had a brother though, he would have known. And he also said they were orphans, so the kind of he went to school with wasn't an orphan.
Hmm.
So I don't know.
Is something wrong, Junpei? Your breathing sounds strange.
Oh, no, it's nothing. I'm fine. Let's get back down there, all right?
Unless she has the same name as Santa's sister, and he's just gone obsessed with her, just helping him with this weird thing. She's crazy.
Yeah, you're my sister reborn.
Well, no, because she was already alive, so.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. Why didn't I ask? What's her last name? I just couldn't get the words to come out.